Hello from Japan as we welcome you into round number 5 of this 7th season of the VOR IndyCar Championship, as we are at a track for the first time not only in league history but Captain eSports Network history. Track that for the first time in quite a while I actually had to research and do some research on this thing, and that is Fuji International Speedway. It's a new track on iRacing that was added on just a couple months back, and tonight we make our first visit in the VOR IndyCar series to this famous Japanese track that has hosted Olympic events from 2021 or 2020, however you want to go with that, to an F1 race a couple of times. It has hosted multiple GT races, so on and so forth, and has hosted some great events here at this speedway. And tonight we are here for round number 5 of the VOR IndyCar series. It is the Let's Race Indy Japan 200 on this 2.78 mile road course layout. Now, there is no chicane, and what that means when you see no chicane, I'll explain the track here in just a minute. There's actually going to be a portion of this track that's not going to be used. It's a very small portion. It's going to actually allow potentially another passing zone in the track. But this track, as I've watched laps, I even kind of drove around a little bit on it just to see what it's all about. A lot of elevation changes, a lot of technical work needs to be done around this track. You've definitely got to be on the wheel mostly. And then it also has one of the longest straightaways in racing. I didn't just say like in America or in Japan or in China. I said in racing, and it's right there. You see Julian Alton to go up the front straightaway here. It is just shy of a mile long from the start of it all the way down to turn 1. So there's going to be some passing opportunities out here this evening. Of course, it is going to be a 44-lap race, 200 kilometers, and should be a pretty fun one here when it is all said and done in the land of the rising sun. So looking forward to some great racing there. Let's go back and talk a second about what happened the last time we were on the track, and that, of course, was at the Daytona International Speedway. And for the second time, the VOR IndyCar Series made the trip there, and it was a wild race once again. For the first time in league history, we actually saw cautions produced at the track. That usually doesn't happen, it seems like. At least the first time we went there, we never had a caution in that race, but we did have one in that race. As a matter of fact, we had all of 3 cautions for 9 laps, 28 lead changes. Will Lyon ends up winning the race, leading 34 laps in a sort of dominant effort, but definitely produced the excitement there. AJ Musselman, Jesper Omen, Julian Alton, and Sven von Kannel finishing in the top 5 with a lot of starters in this race. Now, unfortunately, right now in Japan, there doesn't seem to be a lot of people here tonight. So, unfortunately, that is a little disappointing, but we're going to work through it as always and get through this race. It should be a good one when it is all said and done. But Will Lyon winning at Daytona, which leads us to the point standings. And this is where we sit right now in the VOR points. Jesper Omen leads AJ Musselman by 7. There's Julian Alton, 26 behind there in 3rd. Thomas Geisler, Nick Sudik in your top 5 with Kannel, Granado, Lyon, Tucker, and Cabral, your top 10 as we head to Indianapolis next week. But of course, tonight, though, it is the Fuji International Speedway team points. It has been the Indy Alliance show so far here in the season. But again, anything can happen as we get ready to go racing this afternoon. All right, let's take a look at the track info as I kind of showed it to you a little bit ago. There are 14 corners, 9 right and 5 to the left. Now, want to point out down where the Dunlap corner is, or Dunlop corner. There's an O now than an A. 10 and 11. That basically, there is a chicane that actually is between turn 10 and turn 11. However, that chicane's not being used. So instead of going through 300R to the Dunlop corner and into the chicane, they're actually going straight past it. And you'll see it on the footage when we're showing the race. Into 11, 12, and then, of course, Nets at 13, and then the Panasonic corner at 14. But as you see, there are some named corners. Coca-Cola corner up there in turn 3, and so on and so forth. The mile-long straightaway over there. So 44 laps today. It's just shy of 200 kilometers. which is the advertised distance, 35 mile an hour wind, or pit road speed, I should say. Now, Alex Van der Sant, you see the previous winners. That is of the previous Japan race. Basically, that was at the Motegi Road course last season. Alex Van der Sant winning that one. So this is kind of just replacing that as we keep the series of Japanese races going on. But this is the halfway points of this season 7, round number 5 of the VOR IndyCar series. So that's where that sits. Of course, we have gone through the points tonight, and Let's Race is part again of the sponsorship for the series, which is definitely some great news. But let's kind of use this lap right here. We're going to go on board with, let's see who's out there right now. Let's jump on board Will Lyon, who's the pole sitter right now. We'll let you sit back, and I'm going to kind of talk you through a lap right here at the course. As Will, you see coming down this long straightaway here. Now, right there's the chicane to the right, but you see they move over it to 10 into 11. It's a series of right-hander, left-hander, right-hander. You see the elevation changes. We are going to be talking about that a ton on this track. Here's Nets right here, turn 13, as they work their way up to the Panasonic corner, which is a very wide and loopy turn 14. Kind of reminds you of the, was it the F1 course at China? I think it is. That's a very long straightaway. And, of course, Will Lyon's going to go to pit road. Of course he is. Which, that has an interesting entrance, too. Let's check this out real quick. Sudik, you got to go to the right, to the left, and around in the white lines there, so stay on course. All right, so Julian's our choice. Here we go. Up the straightaway to turn 1. Turn 1, a first gear corner. After all that speed you carry, you almost lift that right front off the ground. Then it's downhill. And up here to turn 3. You're pretty close to wide open there. Back to turn 4, sweeping switchback. Obviously a little bit of bank. You can tell though, track very wide, obviously. And as I mentioned, just very technical when it comes to how you handle the corners. Pretty much wide open through that little section. And here's turn 10 where you skip through this, the chicane to the right. I don't know how you'd pull that off. I guess you almost got to pull the e-brake to make that chicane, right? And then the section of 11, 12, 13. And then you got to set yourself up for this very wide turn 14 here. Hit the apex, which is a late apex, which brings you off the corner and up this very long straightaway. What kinds of speeds are we running up this straightaway? Well, I can tell you that's right around the 185 mile mark. Now, you would think they could easily get to 200, but there's a high downforce setup on here. So this car pretty much gets up to around 180 to 185 and kind of dies out, so to say, at the top end. However, the draft, push to pass, and so much more is going to play an element in this race. So there you go. Little lap for you around this Fuji Speedway, which again is brand new to iRacing. We appreciate Julian for actually staying on the track and letting us show the lap. And let's actually go out here and watch a little bit of qualifying here. As we got about 2 minutes left right now. Let's put the grid up there of who's running. Actually, this is it. They have hit the checkered flag in qualifying. So we'll see who can run what laps here. We're watching Julian. Oh, Julian goes off and hard into that barrier. Ouch. There's Fran Herrera out here running laps. Fran actually just got here late to the race. Him and AJ Musselman did not record a lap, so I don't know if Musselman's going to start in the back. And I don't think Carrera's going to log a lap either. So qualifying officially is going to be over. And Will Lyon will take the pole and back it up that win at Daytona. The momentum is there with a 117.65 second lap. A great lap for that 89 car. Nicholas Sudik will start in the second position. The returning Matthias Kraus will start there in the third position for this race. So 44 laps. Was not able to get really a fuel number. I'm going to check really quickly here. I'm going to bring up the track info again. It's usually Julian is pretty good at putting that on there. And he didn't put anything on there either. So I'm assuming that's Daytona Scala. Usually Julian will say something in chat, so let's see if he says anything over there. But I'm guessing with the long straightaways, 80% fuel, so on and so forth. I'm guessing two-stop race here, probably lap 18. I'm just throwing a number out there. We'll see if I'm right by chance. There's the chicane, a good view of it right there that I talked about. Not going to be used here on the track today. Probably a good thing. As I said, you'd probably have to pull the e-brake to make that happen. Everybody's in the pits. Nobody's running a lap right now. Qualifying is pretty much over. Not sure what. There we go. There's the old switch over. So, all right, let's show the starting lineup for the race here this evening or afternoon at the Fuji International Speedway. It will start with Will Lyon. He is on the pole with a 1:17.658 second lap. He'll start inside of Nicholas Sudik, about a half second off. Matthias Kraus, P3 there with Julian Altena on the outside. Seb Alexander will start inside row number 3 alongside Roland Roush. Josh Tucker, Craig Forsyth in row number 4. Row 5, Dan Morera, Sven Von Cannell. And row 6, Mauro Ramirez, AJ Musselman. And the final row of the 13 cars that will start this race tonight will be Fran Herrera. So unfortunately, as I said, a little bit of a smaller grid tonight, unfortunately. But we will get on with the show. And should put on some pretty entertaining racing. I'm really excited to see these cars go up to turn 1 for the first time. That should make it pretty exciting. And then getting through the technical section, getting these guys single file and patient through the field. Try to see here if anybody. Try to see if anybody is in the chat. I don't see anybody hanging out. So, all right, there you go. All the cars have gridded officially. And I'm trying to see where exactly they are on track. If they're going to do a full pace lap here, or if they're going to get like the old, like half a lap. Okay, there's the chicane. So yeah, it looks like about a half a lap of practice, or of a pace lap here before they get the green flag behind the iRacing Porsche. So I'm not sure how many of these drivers have actually started the race at this track. As I mentioned, 2008, 2009, actually the first time that Formula One ran at this track for 2 years, and that was only because of a sponsorship deal. They actually had a deal worked out with Toyota. That's why they came here. And then all of a sudden the deal came up with, as I was reading over this in Wikipedia, as we come to the green flag from Fuji, Will Lyon is on it, and we're underway. Watch out. Sudik sends it into turn 1. I saw a message yesterday from him. He said something about he did that in practice and actually gained a 10th. I don't think that worked that time, guys. Everybody makes it through the first couple of corners. Down to the first left-hander very fast. Downhill. You see the switchbacks there. Look at that old Williams paint scheme. Roland Roush. Looking inside there, Julian. Julian looking inside of Sudik for position. And yes, by the way, we do have the cameras tonight for Track Cams For 22.com. They have the cameras set up for Fuji, and we have them for you. Thanks to them, You can check them out on the iRacing forums, also on Facebook, and of course at trackcams22.com is their website. And it's like every corner either goes downhill or uphill. Julian gets way loose. Roush gonna pounce to the inside here. That double apex. Turn 14. The Panasonic corners. They come up the straightaway for the first time at full speed. Remember, these cars do have the push to pass. This is the time. Look at him trying to break the draft as Will Line. Almost a mile long. Let's put it like this. Dover is a mile long. This straightaway is nearly as long as that track in its entirety. Down into turn 1. Roush makes a pounce and then slides it in. Slides it a little wide. Good pass there. Honda was that other car, by the way. Toyota had a deal, and that's what brought the track over here. Or brought, I should say, F1 over here for 2 years, and then they went back to Suzuka. Which is kind of weird, because when you look at the original setup, if you go look on Wikipedia, look at the original track, yeah, a lot of people locking up their tires here. But you can actually see the original look of this track actually looks like Suzuka in a way. Line with a 1.2 second lead over Kraus. Sudik is 2.3 back. So as Julian kind of previewed over in chat, he said Will's going to pull away. He's doing that right now, but here's the thing. This is why we race. You never know what can happen at a race at all. Seb Alexander inside of Julian. Now, the one thing I am noticing is the cars on... Whoa, and around goes Seb Alexander. Downshifted too quick into the corner, and it spins her around. Watch this again. He goes down to turn 1. He just downshifts too quickly, and the back end swings around on him. They say the gear's not matching up with the shifts. Zing, and around she goes. Thankfully, that pole is invisible. As we continue back. Obviously, that spin by Alexander set him back to 19 seconds, right behind Mauro Ramirez there in the 52. Julian under pressure. Craig Forsyth there behind him, but Julian started to put pressure on Roush for position here. This is for 4th. Julian not off to the best start here in the car, but at least starting to kind of pick up the pace just a wee bit. These guys get 10 push to passes. You can use them up to 20 seconds. There's not really many places you can use push to pass outside of the front straightaway. We had about half the field starts on... Oh, Matthias Strauss has spun around over here. I'm sorry, Strauss. That's Kraus. They both are named Matthias. Sorry, Matthias Kraus. Goes around. No harm, no foul, other than a loss of track position. That looked like the hairpin section over turn 6 where he spun out. Let's see if I am correct by that. Let's look at the replay real quick and what happened to Matthias Kraus. It definitely wasn't a hairpin because there's a chicane right there. So this is over in the turn 12 area. It's going to spin out over here. Yep. That part of the track actually reminds me a little bit of Interlagos. When you, a couple of the sections of the mid part of the course where you almost have to double turn into a corner, maybe kind of like turn, was it 16 at Circuit of the Americas? It's another, I guess, track you could use for a comparison there, but over near the turn 13 corner is where he lost that back end. So unfortunate deal there for the 59, but still runs in the third position right now. As look at the defensive driving going on as we were cutting back to live with Julian and Roush. So that just shows you with this mile-long straightaway. Uh-oh, AJ Musselman having issues. He is spun around over near the chicane. AJ second in points entering tonight. But granted, this is actually the first road course race of the season. Unfortunately, there's times where somebody who's really good on an oval might not be so good on a road course and vice versa. Craig Forsyth, Josh Tucker, it's the battle for the 6th position. Of course, Craig not fully at 100% yet with his knee issues and stuff that he's been fighting and had surgery on and stuff like that. You know, first it was his feet, now it's his knees. It'll be his hips next week. I'm kidding, Craig. Deb Alexander continuing to climb up through the field. There he is passing. That's Fran Herrera. Fran in the 85 car, the Spanish driver. That curve there is very tricky. You saw the front end of Seb's car go airborne almost, if you will, because that corner, obviously, you're taking a lot faster with the chicane being eliminated there. Will line first gear down to turn 1. Almost an inverted version of Coda's turn 1. Very wide going to turn 1, and it kind of goes immediately downhill. Of course, this area of the track very mountainous. Of course, wait for it, Fuji in the area. The line already 6.8 second lead over Sudik, and then Kraus there in third. Here he comes to that turn 10 section right here. Bam, you see that car just catch air. You wonder if that's going to bite somebody eventually in this race. Turn 13 and 14 over to Panasonic corner. Guess that would make sense why Panasonic is all over the place over there, from signs to roads. Peaking out about 183 down to turn 1. I think if you easily had this car trimmed out without downforce, that would be a 200-mile-an-hour corner right there. Let's watch here telemetry-wise. 5th gear, down to 4th, down to 3rd, barely rolling out of it. 130 through that corner. And you got a double apex sweeping right-hander here. Another 1st gear corner. This one kind of almost a downhill look to it. Maybe some off camber there. And here's that turn 10 section. Watch this car right here. It's like a big bump right there in a transition. There you go. That was with the dashboards. You can kind of see what a lap is like with the shifting and all that good sorts. On board the leader. Now, we did have a change for second. just a minute ago, Matthias Kraus making a pass on Sudik. And I'm not sure if Sudik made a mistake. Yeah, he did. Look at him go wide right there. And Kraus was able to pounce, and then looks like maybe Sven von Knell had issues also. Right there goes off. Just a simple off track, no harm, no foul there. So a couple of moments happening while we were in replay. But now, the battle for second is on. Sudik going to try to draft up there to Kraus. That bump right there, yeah, that's something I want to bring up to the drivers, because I think that's surprising some people. If he goes push to pass here. He does not, but he's close enough to draft at least. He's going to gain a little bit of time. Up the straightaway to turn one. That battle continues on, and then Forsyth in that 4D racewear car putting pressure on the 18 of Roland Roush as Julian Alta is pulled away from the 18 car as we're almost quarter distance already into this race. Very fast pace. I'm assuming about 15 to 20 laps on the tank of fuel. I'm going to keep it a wide number, because honestly, I don't know that answer, and I didn't get a clear answer from any of the drivers, so I'm going to put a wide 5-lap range into the gas mileage here. Oh, some issues towards the back here. I saw Seb and maybe Musselman going off the track, but maybe it's just more of just going off with the run or whatever. Everybody appears to be okay. Fran Herrera doing okay. Dan Morera. Doing a good job as Lion, Kraus, Sudik, Altena, and Roush your top 5 right now. Obviously, there's been a lot of breaks in the racing the last couple of weeks. And because of that, let's pull up the schedule as we go right now. We're at round number 5 here at Fuji. After tonight, we get another 2 weeks off. So we've had a month or so off for Phoenix to Daytona. Then it was 2 weeks down to Fuji. And then we're going to get another 2 weeks for Indianapolis. And then we'll get another 2 weeks. And after that, it's pretty much bang, 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 bang. 4 races within 5 weeks to finish out this schedule. And the basic reason to explain the weeks off and stuff, I know it could be kind of annoying because people like to race or whatever, but it's basically to separate out major events that are going on, or if there's IndyCar races that are live on TV at that moment, or if it's holidays or whatever. That's why you're getting the long breaks. Of course, next week is Labor Day weekend in America. A lot of people are going to be out barbecuing or out of town or whatever. I don't know what's going on back here. My telemetry keeps going off that these two are going like off track and stuff, but they're still going. Musselman just trying to work his way through. He had a fun time. I believe it was Gateway last week. He and was it former league member Caleb Bensi, I think, who We're hanging out over at the Worldwide Technology Raceway for that IndyCar race last week. A little lockup by the 54. All right, so Seb Alexander's pulling away now as he tries to catch back up to Fran Herrera, who I believe he's passed about 2 or 3 times already. All right, so everybody's starting to spread out in this race. It's going to give us an opportunity. I'm going to step away for a second, and we'll get you ready for pit stops coming up here in moments as you're watching the VOR IndyCar Series, the Let's Race Indy Japan 200 here on the Captain eSports Network.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
All right, lap 13 in the books as Will Lyon is dominated so far, picking up right where he left off at Daytona last week as Julian Altena comes to pit road at lap 13. Little be known, I give a 5-lap stretch and he pits before I get to that number. $37-mile-an-hour pit road limit. As Julian pulls into a stall, it should be 4 tires and fuel for the 31 car. Going to swap to the red tires and pulls away 8.6 for him. So obviously the pit window going to be opening up here. So with 14 laps, that's going to be an interesting strategy. Or can Julian go to 1 stop? Because if he's only able to go 14 laps, he's going to be short by 2 laps. To keep track of that 31 and see if anyone else makes moves now to pit road. As Roush and Forsyth continue to battle. Craig Forsyth has come to pit road into 27. Forsyth on pit road. My producer's going to get fired for not paying attention to camera work. That's AJ Musselman there behind Craig. Craig, a long stay on pit road. He's speed on entry or something? He must have. And here comes the leader right at lap 15. Pretty much everybody. First, second, third, all in pit road. Right now, lap 15, splitting this race into 3s, which makes it a 2-stopper. Forsyth finally leaving at 48 seconds, so that tells me, yep, speeding in the pits. That is a 40-second penalty on iRacing. So everybody in the top 7 now have come to pit road. There goes the leader leaving. The only person not pitting right now, Josh Tucker. But Sudik, Roush on pit road. There's Sven Von Cannell in the 24 car. Dan Morera in the 26 pulling in. All this right at the 1/3 mark of this race. So knowing Craig, he's probably beating himself up right now after speeding into pits. That's going to cost him a good finishing position more than likely. There's your leader, Josh Tucker in the 77. And I'm assuming he'll be coming this time by lap 16. Here he comes straight to pit road. And remember, this isn't a straight entrance on pit road. You actually got to hang a right and then hang a left, like its own chicane right here. And on the pit road comes the 77. Now, obviously, it's easy to speed in the pits. And the reason why I say that is because the common sense, you're like, well, wait a minute. These guys have pit limiters. Yes, they do. But the limiter only limits your speed in the pits. It doesn't, like, automatically slow you down to that speed. You have to literally drive as hard as you can to the pit line, slam the brakes, and get it to the line at pit speed. If not, then, yeah, they catch you for speeding in the pits. Uh-oh, issues for Mauro Ramirez, who's got heavy rear end damage on the 52. Gonna try to enter the track safely and get that fixed. I see Forsyth went off track too. Not sure if he was a part of it. It looks like maybe he was. Let's see what happens. Oh, Craig got in the back of him. Miscommunication or something going on there as Mauro pretty much puts the anchor out. I don't know how you avoid that. That's a pretty fast corner as Forsyth's on pit road 2 now getting damage fixed, so that race has got really bad for the 27. I don't know how you avoid that. You know, when you have a corner, it's usually pretty fast, and the guy kind of throws the anchor out on you. As the battles start to shape up here for the 3rd and 4th positions, as Julian Altina coming up to the back of Sudik. Of course, everybody's switching tires pretty much around here. You see Julian on the red alternate sidewall tires. Matter of fact, 4 cars on the alternates right now, as Forsyth was. Roland Roush, who has fallen all the way back to 10th now. I'm not sure. He had a slow stop also on pit road. I could think we could contribute that to speeding in the pit. So 2 speeding penalties, believe it or not, on pit road during that sequence of events. Once again, easy to beat yourself up over speeding in the pits like that, but it's something that if you're not careful and just carry too much to speed to the pits, is pushed to pass on. Julian's a half second back right now. Let's see if he can make up all the half second here on this straightaway. He's there. He's going to dive it in. And makes the pass into turn 1. Well done, Julian. Good job by Nick to give that up. But I don't think Nick's going to so-called give it up that easily. Sudik pressure in at 31, maybe can make a mistake. Of course, he's on those red firewall tires. eventually you're going to see... Actually, I say that as I believe the 87's on the red sidewalls too, so never mind. I stand corrected there. As they both pitted about 2 laps apart. Actually, no, Sudik is on the prime tires. I did have it right the first time. Those pink rims are throwing me off. So, yes, right now Julian is going to be faster in this run, but eventually that is going to flip, and I think you're going to see Sudik be able to make that run for that position back here on those tires. All right, so Craig Forsyth looks like did take his car behind the wall. So Will Lyon has a 12.9 second lead over Matthias Kraus. Will, again, coming off that win at Daytona, was his first career series win, was very excited to go to a track like that, being he's not from America, so winning at Daytona, yeah, it's a big deal, but in an open wheel car, it's like, I understand where somebody would say, not as big as like an Indianapolis win or something. Totally makes sense. But Will winning last week and now here leading at Fuji. And Matthias Kraus running in the second position. Matthias, of course, had that race at Phoenix. Looks like he was on his way to victory lane in that race, and the unfortunate deals with Cameron Boston happened. And, of course, he's missed last week's race at Daytona, so good to see him back on track. But having not the best of luck so far here in the last couple of weeks. And Julian Altena having a great season so far. Hasn't gone to victory lane yet, but he's had some good finishes here of late. And then Nicholas Sudik, the runner-up from last season, running right there behind him in the 4th position. Nick just trying to put a series of races together and get the best finishes he can. I think we'll be following him here next couple laps as those red sidewall tires of Julian start to kind of fall off a little bit, so we'll have to see there. Josh Tucker, 5th position for him. This is, I believe, one of his better runs of the season. In the 77, he's out here logging laps, not really making mistakes. And that 77 running in the 5th position right now. Sven Von Knell there, 6th position. This is 43 seconds back from the leader. Sven has been at, I believe, all the races this season. I'm actually checking out Sim Racer Hub right now. To confirm that, which one of these days I will get all the seasons uploaded, by the way, for the VOR series. As Sven crosses the line right now, he sits 6th in points. He has made all 4 starts. 3 top 10s so far. Looking for number 4 here in his 5th race. Now, the curious question is going to be who's going to be the point leader after this race, because with Jesper not here, Musselman is 2nd in points, but he is back in 12th right now. We could end up with Julian Altena leading the points by the end of today. Thomas Geisler's not here, 4th in points, and then there's Sudik, and then there's Von Knell, and then Granado, who's 7th in points. He's not here. So there's a few people not here in this race, but Sven, one of the drivers, looking to pounce into the top 5 potentially in points. And my man Dan Marrera. Dan and I were teamed up last week for the Le Mans race, which was a series event. I forget which exact series it was, but hosted the actual 24 hours of Le Mans. They actually, in that series, you can go find it on iRacing. It's an official series. They are hosting all 24-hour races. It's like every 2 weeks. They had a Road Atlanta one 2 weeks before, and then the official, I guess the closest, will have the Le Mans on iRacing. And we were in that race, and Dan did a great job running the car, keeping it clean. Certain other individuals did not. And things happen. Let's put it like that. Dan running into 7th position right now, doing a great job. There's Fran Herrera running in the 8th position. Fran doing a good job for somebody who literally got into the session about the last 2 minutes. He didn't get a chance to qualify the car, but here he is running 8th position right now. He's a minute back, but keeping the car as clean as possible, doing as best a job as possible. And then about 8 seconds back from him, there's Seb Alexander, who has unfortunately had his share of issues tonight. He has spun multiple times in the race, but doing good right now, running in the 9th position as he just logs laps here. And then unfortunate break here for Roland Roush, who started all the way up in the 6th position. He had driven into the top 5 and had a good battle with Julian Alton, and all of a sudden he went to pits and things kind of fell off for him there as he sped in the pits and now sits in the 10th position as there goes the leader by to put him a lap down. So, and that is the now 9 cars on the lead lap. That's the 10th place car, and then Mauro Romero is right behind him in the 11th position. Those cars now the only 11 on the track in this Let's Race Indy Japan 200. The battle for 3rd has not gone away. Sudik has not let Julian get out. And because of that, here comes the advantage now for that 87. I think the official distance they said of the front straightaway is .917. So just shy of a mile. As I think about it, I'm trying to foreshadow what these guys are thinking right now about this track. I don't know. Obviously, again, these guys ran a couple practice races earlier in the week, but this is the first official race they've run on this track, at least in the league. I'm assuming that the Indy cars have not gone to Fuji yet on the iRacing official side. So if that's the case, then a lot of these cars are making probably their first start on this track, and I wonder how much they're enjoying it. Fuji, a track you really don't hear much of. When you think of a Japan racetrack, you think of Twin Ring Motegi, you think of Suzuka. You don't really think of Fuji much. And of course, iRacing threw that tease up, it was a day or two ago, of these rocks in the mountains, and left people guessing what they thought the track might be. Of course, your immediate thought when you see it is you think Pikes Peak. But I believe Pikes Peak is a registered trademark of Gran Turismo, I think it was, I read, or something like that. So, I mean, if that's the case, could we see potentially, I assume it would be the Pikes Peak uphill, downhill track, like you see with the track that I can't think of right now that's on iRacing. But you wonder, would it come with the oval? The old short track that IndyCar used to run. That would be cool. We'd have another Richmond on our hands. I mean, I still bring the idea to life now. If we're going to be able to model tracks on iRacing and stuff for people to use in real life, i.e. the Atlanta Motor Speedway, and potentially this future Fontana. Why can't we look into the old tracks like Atlanta back in the day at the regular oval. As Sudik gets a little oversteer there off that corner. You think those primary tires are going to come to life here any minute. Sudik about a second or so back from Julian now. Hold on, Nick. But you look, you know what I said earlier, I must have been misinformed. Because on my telemetry, it's got Sudik on a prime tire. There's the red sidewalls there. So obviously he is still on the alternates. So apologies there. He's on push to pass. He's trying to maintain distance with Julian. He's got 5 left. And sits about 0.6 of a second back. And this is easily the best battle right now. Everybody else is 5 or more seconds of separation between each car. That's why I'm kind of keeping it on this battle right here between these two. See if any of them are going to make a mistake or whatnot. But as I've showed you earlier, Will Lyon continued to lead in this orange and blue Indy Alliance livery. And again, we'll take next week off for Labor Day, and then the following week it is back to Indianapolis for these 300 this season the 500-kilometer race, which is 5 laps longer than the usual 300 miles. So yes, we're actually calling it the Indianapolis 500. What do you know? Look at this. Sudik getting back up to Julian here. Pops out, going to try to make the move to turn 1. And does it. Crossover coming from Julian back downhill. These two continue to swap spots here. Some great racing between them. Sudik starting to get away here. You wonder did Julian burn up his tires, but you got to remember too, Julian did pit at lap 14 in the run. Everybody else at 15, and right now we're at lap 15 of this run. So here comes Julian to pit road. You wonder if that 1 lap difference made all the time separation he needed for Sudik to get back past Julian. But here comes the 31 to pit road for the final time. The 4 tires and fuel for the 31 who had some instant smoke coming off the car. That was interesting. And he goes 4 tires and fuel and he pulls away. So this should open the door to bring everybody to pit road here. So Julian's going to try the undercut and really get an advantage. Oh, and he gets in too. Dan Barrera coming off pit road. That is going to be an interesting situation. Matthias Kraus on pit road. Will Lyon on pit road now. Heard somebody yell, "Oh, come on the chat." Not sure where that came from. Well, lets it loose there off pit road as Kraus and Sudik are on pit road. After the pit stops, we'll show the replay of the contact between Julian and Dan. Sudik tires and uh-oh. Sudik speeding in the pits. He must have been the one that yelled, "Oh, come on." So both of the cars in the third position having issues. One without a wing, one without a speed limiter. I guess that just failed on him, that one. Or something. Or driver error, maybe. So that's going to be big for Sven Von Cannell, at least pit road right now. Because once he realizes that, there goes Sudik finally. There's Dan Marrero coming off pit road. So I think once you see that Julian's got damage, I wonder if Sven will pounce and go get him. I mean, it is about a 26-second difference, but... And all of a sudden the wing shows back up on Julian's car. So apparently the wing's not missing. So forget everything I just said the last 30 seconds. Here's what happened on pit road. Or coming off pit road. So Dan's got the corner. It's one of those tricky spots here. Bam! I mean, am I wrong? Does Dan have that corner? Because he's on the track? In fairness, I will say this. Depending on what kind of screen you're running, if you're that far separated, your spotter might not say anything to you. I mean, look at the separation right here. He's coming off pit road. You could say, yes, Julian could look to the left, but how far left can he see over there before you see Dan? But I would guess, and maybe I'm wrong, but just from my previous experiences, I would think Dan has that corner. After the pit stops, though, Will Lyon leads by 19 seconds now over Kraus. Julian Alton a third. Josh Tucker made his pit stop and now comes out in the fourth position. How about that? As he takes advantage of the issues from Sudik. So Tucker looking for his best finish in the league, I believe, this season in his career. And this is the part where I break the bad news to the field that Will Lyon just ran his fastest lap. Of course, big shout out to Let's Race for sponsoring the race this afternoon. It has 11 laps to go. Kraus running in the second position. Julian Alton to third, as I mentioned, Tucker, and then here's our first battle, and this is the comeback drive for Sudik now, who sits 8th after that speeding penalty. As he tries to catch Fran Herrera in the 85 car, which would be the first car lap down. Sudik getting a little bit closer with this draft. He should be able to get to the back. I don't know if he'll be able to make a move here unless Fran lets him go. And he gets there, but not able to make the move. Definitely been impressed for somebody who has never seen this speedway until on iRacing right now. You know, I had to sit back and kind of learn a little bit about the track and the history of it as Sudik gets to the inside. You know, corner names and things like that. I know I really haven't mentioned them much, but you know, track, I've enjoyed it. That one bump is kind of, I don't know, interesting, I guess, and maybe that's because of the way that transition is into the chicane there. Otherwise, a pretty good flowing track, I'd say. Very wide. So Sudik got around Herrera and has pulled away 1.3 seconds already. Just in that lap. So Nick's going to try to go catch Dan Herrera. He's about 3.5 seconds ahead right now at this moment. Otherwise, everybody else is spread apart. So let's step away. We'll take one last commercial break here before we come back for the last 8 or so laps of this Let's Race Indy Japan 200 here on the Captain Esports Network. And back we are here at Fuji. And I feel like somebody's like jumped into this chat with me all of a sudden. I hear noises in my ears. Sitting here in Discord all by myself. Yes, Julian has joined me for some reason. But, yep. Well, I'm going to listen to him shift, I guess, for the next couple of laps. But anyways, Will Lyon leads by 20 seconds over Kraus. Altina third, and Tucker fourth, and Von Cannell there in your top 5. You see 5 cars on the lead lap. I guess I'm more impressed that he found a way to get in this chat in the middle of the race. I almost wonder if he's trying to distract me purposely with it. Hey, battle here for position. This is the 9th place battle. Seb Alexander has caught Roland Roush. Roland, who, again, I mentioned earlier, was having a fantastic race up in the top 5 before the penalty he had on pit road, has not been able to climb out of it, and now is under attack. Seb deciding to kind of back out of it here, so not going to really see the battle. As Matthias Strauss, by the way, who is working his way between those 2 cars that were battling for position. However, you look behind Dan Morera, there's Sudik. When you're driving angry, sometimes that's when the best of you comes out, right? That yellow and pink flamboyant livery of Sudik. With 6 laps to go. Oh, Nick sends it in there as he always does. I don't know, he likes driving deep turn 1 for some reason. It's a comfort thing. Reminder again, Indianapolis in 2 weeks. Next Saturday, Labor Day weekend. Oh, Dan goes wide, and that lets Sudik go by for the 6th position. So Nick able to get the best of a bad situation out of that 87 car. So Lyon leads by 21 seconds here as he's going to come the 5 laps to go this time. You know, they always say the first race is the hardest one to win. Some reason it gets easier after that, they say. And here it is. He wins Daytona last week, his first career win, and now he's only 5 laps away from win number 2. And potentially inserting himself into the championship race. So 5 cars on the lead lap here. With 4 to go. AJ, appreciate you watching, bud. Sorry about your luck, man. Good news is you will still hold on to a pretty strong points position after tonight, I would think. Julian running 3rd, as I mentioned. How about this guy right here, Josh Tucker? Coming out tonight, having a great run. He is 9th in points entering the race. He has 2 top 10 finishes. And those 2 finishes were 8th and 10th. So he's going to easily get his best VOR finish in this race tonight. But finished 13th, 17th in the first 2 races. And then come out at Phoenix with an 8th and then 10th at Daytona. Great job, Tucker. Hopefully he can finish it off here in the last 10 miles or so in this race. And, man, I hope you feel better, AJ. Bummer to hear that, dude. Might need to go get some of that energy drink you were, what was that sponsor a couple of seasons ago? I can't remember their name. Or it wasn't an energy drink. It was an energy product, if I remember correctly, like Clean Living or something. I remember the paint scheme. I can't remember the name of it, though. It was kind of an awesome name. All right, so all the battles have pretty much settled down. Roland Roush actually got around Fran Herrera for 8th. Otherwise, everybody else is, as I said, pretty separated out. It has been the Will Lyons show, as Julian Alton predicted. The only big incident we've had tonight was the contact between, actually there was a couple. There was one contact between Craig Forsyth and Mauro Ramirez that I'm sure will be reviewed. As Lyon puts Von Cannell a lap down. We're going to have to jump back here, as we have a battle on our hands here. As Herrera's brought in the 18 of Roush for the 8th position. Will working his way through the final section here. He'll see the white flag next time by. Not the best of a start of a season to Will's campaign. Texas, he didn't even run the race. He was not here for that. Ran the race at Michigan, finished 19th in that one. Then he finishes 12th in Phoenix, wins in Daytona. So that's what, 1 top 5, 1 top 10, 1 win and everything. Going into this week's race, he jumped up 17 spots in the points last week after that win. I mean, he's nearly doubled the points off the points leader, Jesper Oman, who's not here, but here he is. About to make this thing 2 for 2. And this time on a road course. Been so smooth for this 89 car the whole entire race. As he enters the turn 10 section again for the final time. Just go through this final set of combinations here. The right, left. The Interlagos left, I guess you want to call it that. And then through the Panasonic corner, turn 14. And brings it up the long straightaway, and he gets a few seconds here to do whatever kind of celebrating he wants, because the start-finish line's in the next town. But it's going to be a second career win, back-to-back, as Will Lyon will cross the start-finish line to win the Fuji Indy 200 in Winnan, Japan. Philip Kraus. I think I just called him Philip Kraus. That's the 3rd different name I've called Matthias. Matthias Kraus will finish 2nd. I apologize deeply, Matthias. So is an Indy Alliance celebration kind of like an F1? Everybody just kind of sits back in their little plastic chairs just clapping like, yay, we won. It's like, no, celebrate! How about this? Tucker almost caught Julian here. That's Josh Tucker right behind Julian Alton. So Julian's going to get 3rd by 1.4. Yeah, another lap. That's a battle. I wonder if it was maybe some fuel save Julian had to do. And Julian goes for it. Everybody celebrates with the 89. There is our Zanardi Donuts. So is Will Lyon a favorite going to Indianapolis in 2 weeks? I think momentum says yes. as we look at the final results of the race this evening, Lion wins it by 26 seconds over Matthias Kraus. Julian Alton a third. Josh Tucker fourth. Sven Von Kanel finishing fifth. Sudik sixth. And I'm hearing something in different languages. Sudik sixth. Morera seventh. Roland Roush eighth. Fran Herrera ninth. And Seb Alexander 10th. Mauro Ramirez finishing 11th. AJ Musselman 12th. And Craig Forsyth finishing in the 13th and final position. So fairly clean race, just that one kind of big incident there. Looks like just a miscommunication communication on track. Potentially the cause of that. As we wait for these other drivers to jump in here in the Discord to talk, let's talk with Julian, who just comes on in here a few minutes ago during our commercial, and all of a sudden I hear click, smack, click, click, smack, smack, click, click, smack, smack, click. And I'm like, what in the world? I jump in, and there's Julian shifting on an open mic. But he finished his third this evening. Congratulations on that, Julian. How close was it all from being a little hectic there with Dan Morera? Well, let me ask from this standpoint here, since it looks like it's a null and void type situation. In that kind of situation, is it something that the pit driver, in this case you, and the driver on track, in this case Dan, is it one of those where, like, it doesn't matter who has the right of way, we'll call it, or is it one of those things where normally the guy on track has the advantage?
Should be fine. But yeah, like I said, I don't really care either way what happened there. It's fine with me. I don't know about Dan, but I don't really think it changed the result for either of us. So yeah.
I guess it helps if I turned your mic on. Anyways. Yeah.
You want me to repeat?
No, you don't have to. I think we heard enough. But no,
okay, cool.
Talk about the third place finish, though. Obviously, a great run there as you looked like you were going to be fast there after practice. I'm like, man, this guy could be pretty good. And you fell back 3 or 4 spots or so.
Yeah, I really don't know why that was, to be fair, because like you said, the pace in practice was pretty solid. I was actually right up there. So don't really know, but I do know that the blacks in the beginning were need to use nice language here.
Sketchy?
Pretty bad, let's just say. Other words for poop is what I was trying to say, but of course I won't.
Cool.
No, but the blacks, they were consistent, but they were just really slow. And the reds, I didn't think would be the tire of choice, but it turned out to be. So as soon as I got on the reds on the second state, my pace was pretty solid. Even though I pitted a lap too early and miscalculating the fuel number, but yeah, the pace was there. I just couldn't pull the race together. So that's what's really the main thing. But the first thing, I really don't understand how the blacks were so slow as they were. But that's just how it goes sometimes, I guess.
So you were one of the first cars to pit there in each run. Actually, you were the first car. Let me just go ahead and get that out. Was that just a strategy move, or was that something just to kind of make sure you're on pit road by yourself? Because it looked like at the end it almost cost you.
Yeah, like I said, I pitted a lap too early. I wanted to pit a lap or two before everybody else because I knew they would try to go as long as possible. After like a few corners, I figured out this is not going to be a primary race. So from really the start on, I knew the people on the red would be stretching it to the end of the stint to go the shortest on the blacks at the end there. To kind of minimize that damage, which of course I tried to do as well by pitting as early as possible. So yeah, like I said, I misjudged the fuel numbers there. So it was kind of part of the strategy, but not really, if you know what I'm saying, because I pitted a lap too early. But yeah, the reds really were the way to go. So yeah.
Well, the fuel save worked out. You had almost Josh Tucker up your tail there at the end, but it worked out for you. A top 3 finish, way to survive after especially the contact with Dan there mid-race. That battle with Nick, by the way, was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think I made a pretty solid move on him as well in turn 1. Where
You both
really
made solid moves on each other.
Yeah, it was really good. I hope it all makes the highlight reel. But yeah, it was good racing, so thanks to him, of course. Shame about the penalty that he got, because I saw him slip back in the running order. After the incident with Dan, I thought it was going to be over for a podium, but then I saw Nick pit and drop back. So don't mean to be rude here, Nick, but I was kind of happy that you did for my own result. But yeah, congrats, of course, to Will and also Matthias on a good second place.
Yeah, great job tonight. Congratulations on your third. Shout out to whoever you like to.
Well, of course, those people raised me really well. So, yeah, thanks to them all. I want to thank you. I want to thank Joshua as well for sponsoring this race. Also, Daytona a few weeks ago, and I believe he will also sponsor the next one. Either way, he will sponsor one more race this season. So, thanks to him, and also Kevin from Let's Race. Of course, check them out. I don't know if Joshua's in here, but I'll leave it up to him to really talk about Let's Race, because I think he can do that best, and not me. So if he's in here, he can do that. But yeah, I want to thank him for sponsoring. I want to thank you for broadcasting, everybody that showed up today. It was a little smaller field. Hopefully the next race will be just as big as the last 4 I've been with, over 25 cars.
Well, great job tonight. Congratulations on your top 3, and we will see you in 2 weeks at Indy.
See you then.
Absolutely. Julian Altena finishing in the top 3 at the Fuji International Speedway. Let's bring in the guy who you can tell we've been off for a few weeks here and there. That I think I called him 4 different names tonight, and I apologize about that in advance. I think, Matthias, what I did in the end was every person that's had either the name Matthias or the last name Kraus in a VOR race, I mixed their names together somehow and called you that person at one point. So, again, apologies in advance. But hey, great run tonight, finishing in second. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Nice race, tough race, but the pace from Will was too fast for me.
Gotta ask about the bump in turn 10. Did that play any kind of an issue on these cars at all? Because it seemed like it was almost a ramp at times.
The bump in turn 10 is very tricky. Yeah, I had a lot of practice at this track, and yeah, I know how you drive over the bump, that the car not go loose, and you, yeah, but very hard over 44 laps.
Obviously, a great points day for you. I know last time you were on track was the issues at Phoenix with the end of that race that affected your finish. We didn't get to see a Daytona, and then you come back this week. Great bounce back after what's happened.
Yeah, Phoenix was very yeah, was not so nice the last lap. Yeah, but on road courses, I know I'm very fast on road courses, and so I know that the race today were good. P2, I'm very happy about that. Yeah, I know Will is yeah, is too fast for me, and yeah, I think P2 is a great result for me and for the team, and yeah.
Well, great job tonight, man. Good to see you up here in the front as always, and shout out to whoever you like to, buddy.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Matthias Kraus finishing in the second position this evening here at the Fuji International Speedway. Congratulations to he and the team. And let's bring in all of a sudden the hottest driver of the circuit, who probably wishes we didn't have any weeks off the rest of the season. Will Lyon comes and joins us here after winning at Daytona. They say the first one's the hardest, and here you come back to back and make it 2 in a row. What about this course that made it just click for you?
Oh, I mean, to be fair, I've done a lot of racing around Fuji back in the day on Project Cars 2 was when I first drove it. So I know this place like the back of my hand. Although I'm used to the version that's got the chicane. So that like quick right-hander at the back end of the track is really scary in these cars. It's so bumpy. But yeah, I've done a lot of races here. I've done an IndyCar race around here before as well. So I knew what the tire strategy was, and yeah, it's just a case of trying not to crash really, because as I say, that quick right-hander at the back end of the track is just so scary in this car.
Yeah, I was going to mention that to you. I mentioned it to Matthias a second ago. It just seemed like a ramp back there. Is that just because of the way the transition goes into the chicane there, or what causes that? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I was watching. I was just having a look back on the replay there, and I think the car sort of bottoms out on the inside curb, and it's bouncing, and then it seems to hit some other sort of bump on the exit of the corner as well, and then of course you've got the grass and the other curb on the outside, and it's just if you get a little bit too aggressive, maybe a little bit too much throttle, the rear just comes around on you, and that's that's 10 seconds in the bin. So. Yeah, it's just it's a really challenging bit of the track, and I don't like it. And I know we had a vote. We had a vote on, you know, whether we ran the chicane or we had that fast corner, and I think a few people will be regretting it because you know it's a lot easier doing the chicane. I can tell you that much.
Wait, it had to set up different braking. Now, obviously, I'm not this race right here is the first time I've ever seen Fuji, let alone called a race or raced on it. And at least to my knowledge, I mean, knowing me, I probably ran it back in the day on GT or something. But that corner, obviously, you go into the chicane, makes it a slower approach to the turn 12 or turn 13 section there.
Mhm.
Obviously, but
Yeah.
because of that happening, you were almost 160 miles an hour going into the right-hander there.
Oh, it's super quick, yeah. And the other thing is, because it's such a fast corner, you've also taken away another overtaking opportunity. So, you know, to be honest, when I was starting on pole, I thought, well, at least we have got the, you know, one less overtaking opportunity. And again, yeah, it just it makes the race a bit more interesting, I think, when we've got that second overtaking place, because there isn't really, apart from turn one, there's not really anywhere else to overtake around here, because it is quite fast flowing. I mean, you can maybe overtake after the really long right-hander, overtaking to that left-hander, but with these cars, you get so much dirty air on the right-hander. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's a really fun track, though. I'm glad iRacing finally got it, and you know, when we finally get rain on the sim, this will be the place where it always rains. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's what we need: 190 mile an hour on a 1 mile straightaway with roosters. That's a good idea.
Yes, excellent.
Well, great job tonight, and shout out to whoever you like to.
Yeah, just thanks to everyone in the Alliance as always, to yourself for broadcasting, and I believe to Josh Tucker as well, who's very kindly put a prize, I think, towards the podium tonight. So yeah, big thanks to him for his support to the league as well. So yeah, big thanks to you all.
That's a great reminder. I totally forgot about that. That's down here in the. Is that in the race notes? He put that. Somewhere in here, yeah. He put up like a little fee or a little prize for the winner tonight. So I think you get a little coin for your buck there.
Yeah, exactly. So no, fair play to him. And, you know, hopefully it will bring few more people back as well in the future. And it was a bit of a shame we only had 13 turn up today, but I guess new track and everything, it's a lot of money to spend. So
right.
Yeah, hopefully we get more for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm starting to learn a theory here. Like, apparently, when a track comes out, you got to wait like 2 seasons. Apparently.
Yeah, it seems like it. And I guess because it is tucked away in Japan, maybe not a lot of people know about it unless they've played, you know, as you said, GT or Project Cars or whatever. So I guess it's one of those hidden gems, I think.
There you go. I like it. It definitely. I enjoyed watching the racing here. As you mentioned, the chicane section kind of scared me a little bit, just watching liftoff a couple times. It seemed like, but no, great racing, and congratulations, man, back to back, and now you go to Indy.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris.
You too, buddy. Will Lyon finishing in victory lane tonight with a second straight win here in the Let's Race Indy Japan 200 here at Fuji International Speedway. So once again, we take a week off and we come back after Labor Day with the Indy 500K, which is a 500-kilometer race. It'll be the 7th running of this race for VOR, and hopefully, like Mr. Lion said, hopefully we'll have a bigger turnout than we did this evening. But should be a good race coming up here in a couple weeks at the Speedway. Looking forward to it. All right, so appreciate Let's Race for sponsoring this event, and also big thanks to Julian for allowing us to broadcast this. We'll get the points updated immediately. I'm going to do that now so that don't wait 2 weeks and get those up. But you see the sun's starting to set over there as we go home. And as I always say, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend off next week, and we'll see you in Indianapolis in 2 weeks. Until then, remember, this isn't just a game. It's iRacing. See ya!